2 meetings last season. We told you about the tremendous game at home from Hunter Sallis, a career-high 33 points.
And that those 2 games last year really revolved around turnovers. Wake Forest turned it over 18 times in Raleigh for the loss and took care of the ball better here. Only 8 turnovers at the win.
Yeah, Kevin Keats told us just prior to the ball game, those numbers that do not involve scoring will be important. Those are the winner stats. At the other end, it's Efton Reed to start the scoring for Wake.
You know, he's a guy, right now he's at a little under 8 points a game. They need to get a little more scoring out of him, Tom. And I think he's got to be around the 12-point mark, maybe a little north of that as this season goes along.
Reed had 9 points and 6 boards in the win on Tuesday on the road at Syracuse. Out of the corner, Michael O'Connell for 3.
He's a guy, too, that he's capable. We touched on him in the open. Very steady, great. His assist-to-turnover ratio is crazy good. Not shooting the 3 so far this season real well, but he can put some numbers up.
Sallis got cut off. The turnaround, high degree of difficulty, and he scores.
Yeah, really good mid-range game, and it's the one thing Wake is not, although their 3-point shooting in conference games much better than they were in November, December this year.
Roger Ayers, Eric Lewis, Tommy Morrissey in charge of the action this afternoon. Long-time ACC rivals. Ben Middlebrooks is back in the lineup. He's involved in the turnover. Sallis 1-on-2, past O'Connell, and he lays it in.
And that's the one thing that Steve Forbes has really been happy with this team is their defense. Their numbers right around second in the league behind Duke's as far as field goal percentage. Very good around the ball.
This is Middlebrooks, attracted a triple team. That whistle goes against the pack. So it's a 3-second violation, gives the ball to Wake. Here's the starting lineup. Hill, Taylor, O'Connell, who's already got a 3. Huntley, Hatfield, and Ben Middlebrooks, who did not play in the game at Virginia. An illness about 20 minutes before the game. Coach Keats got the news and had to adjust the game plan. It worked in the first half, Mike. It did not work in the second half against the Cavaliers.
Caught up with them. I mean, they were shooting incredibly well that first half and just wore down the second half. It's amazing, Tom, this climate we were playing in. This year's in college basketball. Great backdoor cut, and that's what Hildreth does well and gets inside. They win the ACC championship, 5 games, win the title, go to the Final Four, and there is absolutely no carryover whatsoever from last year. NC State, 8 new faces this year. We talked to Kevin Keats about that. That's really incredible.
And yet the expectations are always there, regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you went to the Final Four. We're going to do it again? I don't know. We've got 8 new guys. I got to learn their names first.
Again, this is just game 1 of CW Courtside Saturday. A couple teams on 7-game winning streaks on deck with Duke, number 4 in the nation, and the only ranked team in the ACC going against SMU.
Really tune into that game as well. It is going to be really good. SMU has really made a strong statement early on. And it's a critical game for SMU.
8th season for Kevin Keats. He's got 147 wins as the head coach of the Pac. They went 26-15 a season ago, 9-11 in the ACC, and they went all the way to the tournament title. I mean, we saw them at the trail end of the season, Mike. They had a bad loss at Pitt. Had no momentum and went all the way to Washington and took the title. Wake going the other way. It's Sallis. Hildreth. They try to work it inside, and they connect with Spillers, and it's an 8-0 Wake run.
I really like his game. He is so active, very quick off his feet. Probably their best shot blocker.
Spillers is a transfer from Appalachian State, senior from Charleston, South Carolina. Averages almost 10 points per game, and the Deacs have the ball back.
I always wonder how the guys are going to make the adjustment from the mid-majors up to this level.
Head coach of the Deeks in his 5th season. It's Steve Forbes after going 21-14 a season ago and making the NIT. He is 2-4 in his career against NC State. Hildreth in trouble with a fall away. Middlebrooks altered that shot. The loss at Virginia on Tuesday, 70-67. NC State shot 44% as a team, struggled in the second half, and allowed Virginia to make 7 3-pointers in the second half as the shot clock is inside of 10. Tenacious defense and a traveling violation against Huntley Hatfield.
Yeah, that's something they worked on yesterday in practice, really coming in a strong double team. And this is what, great job by Efton coming in late and really in picking up the dribble. There was nothing that Hunter Hatfield could do, forced the turnover. Really solid defensive double team.
So Efton Reed combining on the defensive effort. Kevin Keats is going to his bench. Huntley Hatfield and O'Connell have come out of the lineup. Trey Parker, number 5, is in for NC State.
It's a Wake Forest team that turns over the opposition just under 15 times a game, and that's ranks highly in the NCAA stats.
Middlebrooks with the block of Hildreth. He's got the ball at the other end. Not surprisingly, he's the leading shot blocker for NC State. Whistle stops play. Foul coming up. Will step aside. Reed Pisting, January 7th, 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. Hunter Sallis and the Deeks has a team 4 of 7 shooting so far with Middlebrooks at the free throw line.
NC State only 3 field goal attempts so far in the game. They're 3 turnovers, so not quite awake yet with the noon start.
You always talk about that early start, Mike. And
yeah.
It takes a little bit to get the engine revving up to full capacity. 1 of 2 for Middlebrooks as a 68% free throw shooter.
Well, maybe that motorcycle in the, intros might have helped Wake Forest along.
The Demon Deacons mascot comes in here in the chopper and revs that engine.
Or as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, chopper.
An exciting lead up to this ball game. Fantastic crowd, by the way, as well. On an enormous Saturday in the ACC. We're happy to bring you 2 games on the schedule. Duke, SMU to follow us.
All 18 teams in action.
When you were playing at Duke, Mike, late 70s, did you ever think you would say that? 18 teams in the ACC.
Well, we all couldn't play because there was an odd number. There were 7.
We need more teams.
So we need one more, and we got Georgia Tech in 80, so we rounded the field out to 8.
And here we are, 18 teams strong, and so free throws upcoming. Foul was on Parker for NC State.
Yeah, how about and talk about a rest. The winner of the regular season got a bye into the semifinals of the ACC tournament.
Not anymore. Just ask Kevin Keats in the pack.
Yeah, I mean, nobody will ever beat that record because 3 teams won't make it into the tournament this year. But yeah, I didn't think I'd ever see a team winning 5 games to win the title.
Just an amazing run last season by the Wolfpack. Beat Louisville, Syracuse, Duke, and Virginia in the semifinals in overtime. The amazing shot from Michael O'Connell to send that game to OT as NC State turns it over.
Yeah, 4th turnover. And that, you saw that, you referenced that Pitt game. We thought that win put Pitt in to the tournament. Winds up they got nixed, and State makes the run in.
NC State, Duke, Clemson, North Carolina, and Virginia represented the ACC in the NCAA tournament a season ago. NC State and Duke were in a regional final. 3-pointer. Goes by Juke. Scored over 2,000 points in his high school career. Had 10 points, 4 rebounds, made a couple of threes in the win on the road at Syracuse. First win in the Dome for the Wake Forest program. Breon passes into the game. Number 4 for NC State, playing his 100th collegiate game this afternoon. He'll step back. Couldn't get it away. Juke was in his face. Taylor on the drive against Sallis. Harris comes up with it.
Well, it's early in the game, Tom, but really Wake has kept NC State in the half court. They've had a grind for everything. And another 3. We talked about their three-point shooting. Not there early in the season, but much better lately.
Wake made 9 threes on 19 tries in the win at Syracuse. 47% from 3. That was a season high. Middlebrooks shovels it to pass. Elevates.
Yeah, every shot they've got to grind for. It's been contested. Really has been tough offensively for NC State.
Teams played in mid-February last year. Here a win for the Deacs as that one almost fell. 83-79 was the final in the February game. They also played in January of last season. NC State won it at home 83-76, and Taylor has the foul for NC State.
Here's the look, and they ran some things. They like to work him into the post. Again, we talked about his size at 6'7". He's going to, if he gets a smaller defender, he can go in and find his own jump shot.
64% free throw shooter, and you got 4 new faces coming in, led by O'Connell.
And just the way their offense, they've got to have O'Connell on the floor. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point here. It's a little early on, but maybe turn up the pressure a little bit if you're NC State. But they've got to start making baskets for that to happen.
It's kind of what Wake did at the Dome, Mike. They jumped out to an early lead against Syracuse, only led by 2, though, at halftime. Forced 18 Syracuse turnovers. Now, NC State needed that one from Huntley Hatfield to turn around.
He's still finding his way a little bit in this program. They need him to find some consistency.
Scored in double digits in the loss at Virginia. Huntley Hatfield had 12 points and 7 boards. He averages just shy of 10 points per game. Sallis had nowhere to go. Johnson trying to dribble past the double team. Tommy Morrissey was right on it, calls a foul on the floor. First on Hill. The introduction for Parker Fredrickson as Tyler Johnson goes to the Wake bench. Say that Fredrickson is a three-point specialist might be a bit of an understatement, Mike.
Yeah, he certainly is. Just an unforced error there.
So Fredrickson has taken 209 career field goal attempts. 189 have been for 3. So that's what Coach Forbes expects from number 7.
So quick math. There were 20 ventures inside the
Man, that's some Duke addition and subtraction right there.
In 2 years.
The degree at work.
That's funny. I mean, it's almost statistically impossible in 2 years.
So Efton Reed, Mike, just picked up a foul. That's his second, so he has to trudge to the Wake Forest bench. So Reed is out of the lineup. Huntley Hatfield trying to back his way down. Spillers was defending. A foul was called.
And it's interesting. Rather than going with a Bass, Wake Forest going smaller. Spillers is actually guarding Hunter Hatfield, and he tried to go in and did the right thing, attack inside with the post. But Wake Forest pretty small out there.
.77% from the stripe for Huntley Hatfield. Arms folded in disbelief for Coach Forbes. So they did assess that foul to Hildreth, who thought it might have been on Spillers. Further clarification, and Hildreth picks up the foul and a couple of free throws for Brandon Huntley Hatfield, the senior from Clarksville, Tennessee. 2 years in the Louisville program, a year at Tennessee prior to that.
Let's see if he can take advantage of the matchups that he has on the floor right now, because he's just under 80% from the free throw line, so an advantage there.
Efton Reed out with the 2 fouls. Sallis has to slam on the brakes. Fredrickson gives up the 3 and sends it back to Sallis. That is off target. Despite the miss from Sallis, Wake has won 3 of its last 4 games and 4 of its last 6. And with the win at the Dome on Tuesday, Mike, 3 in a row in the series with the orange for the Deacs. Almost poked away by Spillers. Quick hands. O'Connell determined to get to the rim. He got there, couldn't finish. Pack kept it alive. Parker had to give it back to Styles. He hits the floor hard. Whistle and foul on the play on the Styles drive. So far in the first half, it's Wake out in front. 11:35 to go.
SMU can really score the basketball, and their defense is improving. And that's one thing Andy Enfield wants to improve, and Duke really good at both ends of the floor. So, you know, SMU has not had a win against a quad 1 team, and this is a huge opportunity for them to get a win. They get that win, they should be ranked going into next week.
Cooper Flagg coming off a 24-point effort against Virginia Tech, and to keep the Blue Devils at 3-0 in conference play.
Let's see, that foul and Efton Reed leaving the game has opened the door a little bit here. Then NC State's taking advantage of them. Now with these free throws, they can pressure up the floor.
NC State, a mini 6-0 run to cut the lead to 9 here in the first half. Just over 11 minutes to go. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, our outstanding ACC CW production crew. Hildreth couldn't convert. Ball found its way back to Sallis. Threads the pass to Harris. Double-fisted for the rim bender.
Remember those, you were in talking to Kevin Keats, he was talking about winning plays, those 50-50 balls, coming up with those, and you're scrambled, your defense isn't set, and Harris comes up with it.
Styles on the drive. The foul is against Wake.
See, now, Spillers, he's a shot blocker, but with Reed out of there, the lane just looks to be open. And NC State really has done a nice job of attacking the rim.
So Sallis picks up his first personal foul. Styles at the free throw line, 65% from the line this season. Transfer from Georgetown, couple of years in the North Carolina program, and a senior from Kinston, North Carolina. Has made 12 starts this season, was not in the starting lineup today for NC State in the first of 2 meetings with Wake. Teams will play again in Raleigh on February 22nd, a 2 p.m. start. Deacs lose it in the backcourt. Just the second turnover of the half. It will be Wake Forest basketball.
Well, again, that's the added value, again, of attacking the rim, getting fouls, getting to the free throw line, and setting pressure. Second turnover they forced.
It is NC State basketball, Mike. I thought that was the initial indication from the official. Along the baseline, and Hill up and under. Lead is 8 for the Deacs. 10-4 on the season. 2-1 in conference play.
So it was a 12:30 start for the Pack.
Hildreth tried to save it on the sideline. That is going to be NC State basketball, according to Roger Ayers, right on top of the call. Dennis Parker Jr. comes back in for NC State. Tyler Johnson, number 8 for Wake, has joined the fray. Coach Keats had a whiteboard in the locker room said, if your name is not on this whiteboard from the Virginia game for deflections, steals, tips, offensive rebounds, you're doing something wrong. You need to get your name on this board. Had nothing to do with scoring. Oh, Spillers, the rejection. Johnson alley-oop. A couple of players raced on by it. Harris got it high off the square.
I really like what I've seen from him early. Very active inside. Nice job on the putback.
Mike Harris has 8 points in the first half. That's above his average of 5.3 per game. And O'Connell misfires. Styles came over the top.
Well, you remember back, I mean, a lot of times for a freshman, you come in off the bench and you hit a three right off the bat. And that, a lot of times that gets you right into the flow of the game, which he did. Then you get the dunk, and all of a sudden that picks up your defensive side of the ball.
So now Sallis has to go to the bench as well. Efton Reed is already there, Mike, and they both have 2 personal fouls. So Reed and Sallis out of the lineup. Harris is the leading scorer so far for Wake with 8. Sallis has 7. Huntley Hatfield on the bench has 4, leads NC State. Tapped away by Johnson. McNeil is in there, number 2 for NC State. Shot clock winding down, and they beat it. Jumper from Hill. Marcus Hill, the senior, and a transfer from Bowling Green.
Good recognition of the clock, too.
How about Hill last year, Mike, for Bowling Green? 31 times double figures in scoring, and 19 times he went for 20 or more. Front rim. That leads to a run out. Up ahead, and an easy lay-in. Parker Jr.
You know, when you catch your teammates off guard with a shot like that, it's the first pass to a fast break, and that was a terrific look ahead. Challenged the shot and then just broke out.
Despite that miss on the previous sequence, Wake shooting 57% from the floor in the first half, 42% so far for NC State, and the shot clock is at 5. Harris again drew the foul. O'Connell is slow to get up. Assistance from his teammates.
Boy, you know, and with Sallis out, you know, with those 2 fouls, it may be the freshman who's going to carry him home in 8 minutes here in the first half.
Sallis on the bench, Efton Reed on the bench with the 2 personals.
Hildreth is going to have to show up in the last 8 minutes here, too. Only 2 points for him.
Hildreth is 0 for 4 from the floor as well. His points came from the free throw line. Freshman, 6'7", 200 pounds. From Salisbury, North Carolina, Juke Harris.
He's feeling a little better about himself. You look at his 3 double-figure games, Tom. Michigan and 2 ACC games. So he's played his best against the best competition.
And Michigan was a great home win against the Wolverines. A miss from NC State, and Harris again. He's into double digits with 10. Played 19 minutes off the bench against Syracuse. Fredrickson tees up a 3.
Well, why the crowd may be reacting to that is this guy is just a lights-out shooter, and he's at 19% for the year, and they're hoping that.
And so we'll have it for you. ACC women's basketball.
Are they looking at like double-figure bids in the NCAA tournament at least?
Well, they sent 8 teams to the tournament last year.
Women have been tearing it up.
And the NC State women, by the way, went to the Final Four as well. So NC State had both programs in the Final Four. And Elliot Avent's Wolfpack baseball team went to the College World Series last year. A banner season for the Pack. Down and out. Johnson with the miss. Wow, that was halfway down, Mike. Three-pointer right in front of the Wake Forest bench from Jaden Taylor. The lead is now 8. Try to put it up on the rim for Spillers. Middlebrooks in the neighborhood.
Yeah, Taylor needed to come alive for them. His first points of the afternoon.
Second foul on Middlebrooks. Transfer from the Clemson program. Second year at NC State. Middlebrooks playing in his 114th career game with Spillers at the line.
And this is, you know, up till this point, neither one of these teams have really built their games around the three-point shot, and both of them have been pretty strong from behind the arc. And I thought this was going to be more of a 2-point, free throw line, more conventional game.
NC State only averages 6 made threes per game, and the shot clock is deep, down to 3. Pass. He wants another 3. Big bounce to Harris.
A couple times now, especially in the half court, State's gone deep into the shot clock.
Hildreth, once again, they try to lay it up on the cylinder.
You know, he makes plays, but he's got a high number of turnovers as well, and he takes some chances with the ball, and that was ill-advised. Luckily, you know, they retained possession. That was going to be a tough lob to connect.
Talked about Hildreth at the top of the broadcast. 4-year player. There's only 5 players in all of the ACC that will start and end their career in the same program. And he's one of them.
That's an amazing stat.
Senior from Worthing, England. That one rolls to Hill. He's determined to get to the rim and out leaps his defender and lays it in. Timeout, Steve Forbes and Wake Forest. Mike, it's a 6-point game.
Yeah, the freshman Harris just trying to do too much off the dribble that time. The car and get where I can.
Got it.
And
the vision's getting better every day, right?
The vision's getting better, and but you know it's a little bit of a choppy schedule. Oh, good timeout, good play coming right out of the timeout. Let's see how this.
So Fredrickson had made a 3 just a couple of moments ago.
But that attempt looked a little like he was kind of hoping it was going to go in rather than had some confidence with it.
Wake averages 6.4 threes made per game. So both of these teams right around 6 threes per game. Turnaround is money. Styles, that was smooth, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him, he's a fabulous athlete, you know, well traveled in his career. You keep waiting for him to really explode.
Wake so far 3 of 7 on 3-pointers. That is Fredrickson.
Walk.
The ballet dance to the rim, and he traveled. That's the 5th turnover of the half for Wake.
Well, we referenced his 20 trips inside the 3-point line, and that's really not his game, getting stuff done off of the dribble.
So it'll be NC State basketball. Hunter Sallis is back into the lineup. Second year at Wake after 2 years at Gonzaga for the senior from Omaha, Nebraska. 45% from the field this season for Sallis. Back in with the 2 fouls. Open man inside, Huntley Hatfield. He's up to 6 points.
Great look, and again, since Efton Reed out of the ball game, the paint has been wide open.
Spillers gathers and scores.
Yep, nice look there too.
Trayvon Spillers played 39 minutes in the Dome and got a double-double, 11 points, 10 boards on Tuesday in the victorious effort for Wake. Hill, that's slightly off the mark to Hildreth. Just the 2 points for Hildreth in the first half. Wake running, Spillers missing. That one bounced off the edge of the rim as well for Johnson, and then Huntley Hatfield hauls it in. Pass finds Hill. Carves his way to the rim.
Yep, well, State, a couple of things. They've been able to get out and run, playing a little bit more full court. They've gotten some turnovers, gotten to the free throw line, gotten inside, and really Sallis being in foul trouble, being on the bench has really opened the door for him as well.
NC State has made 4 of its last 5 field goal attempts. At the other end, the guy doing all the work is Juke Harris, Mike. He's got 12.
Yeah, he's really saved the day for them in the first half.
As you mentioned, he's gotten into double digits in 2 ACC games against BC and the Syracuse game.
And I really like him when they get him the ball in on the low block.
Also picked up a rebound there. Johnson on the bounce. Nifty Globetrotter dribble. into the lane, couldn't finish it off.
Yeah.
Huntley Hatfield runs to the corner, tried to save it, and a foul was called. Spillers was near him. We got a 4-point game. NC State and Wake, CW courtside Saturday.
Specifically, Juke Harris has held them in this ball game.
12 points for Harris with Huntley Hatfield at the free throw line for NC State. Both teams in the bonus. 3:03 to go in the first half. 7 points now for Huntley Hatfield. Efton Reed just trying to think things over in his first 20 minutes of action. One of two for Huntley Hatfield. Reed has 2 points so far in the first half. He's only played 5 minutes and change because of the foul trouble.
It's interesting. You know, some coaches won't play guys with the 2 fouls.
Wide open Spillers.
And Steve Forbes is going to take a chance with number 23 out there,
who has 2 fouls. Sallis. That was a great pass.
And they're going to
by
play
Tyler Johnson.
And they're going to zone. Try to hide him a little bit.
Shot clock is down to 8 for Hill. That's pass. Oh, pass. He's got the 3 ball.
Well, he's another 4-year guy who's out on the floor. He's actually had his moments at NC State over the years, and a little niche for himself this year.
This is his 100th game. He has not started a game in an NC State uniform, and he's the best 3-point shooter by percentage at 54% on the season.
His career game, first game this year, 14 points.
Sallis, well defended by Styles. Johnson ended up with it. 140 and rolling in the first half.
Well, Sallis, he can't drive. He's got to protect against a charge.
Hildreth ran into a double team. Harris trying to bail him out. Great movement without the basketball for number 2 in old gold and black.
Yeah, pretty good find by Hildreth, too.
How about 14 points in the first half for Juke Harris? Hill flings it back over to Styles. Hildreth chisels his way to the basket.
Well, that's his game right there. I mean, he's so strong. He wants to get into the paint area, overpower you, try to get the 3-point play.
4 points for Hildreth. They try the alley-oop. Spillers deflects it away. Goes out of bounds on the save attempt by Sallis.
What a crossover, and he gets his shoulders past you. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot.
Did he play to the camera at the very end of that, Mike? He looked down at that camera and says, I got a lot more moves left. He's got 4 points now. Senior who wore number 2, Mike, for 3 years, and now he's changed to number 6 with the change in the rule on single digits. Taylor deflected. Hildreth.
Hold for the last shot.
6-point Wake lead. Final seconds. Harris got it away off the rim. Despite that miss, what a first half from Juke Harris with 14 points. And so Wake will go in the first half as they have the basketball as we crank up the second 20 minutes from Winston-Salem, North Carolina in the ACC on the CW. Hill, explosive to the rim, and he spins it in. Marcus Hill.
Yeah, and given that, if I'm NC State, I mean, their mindset changed in the second 10 minutes of the first half. I'd keep attacking Reed, see if you can get that early 3rd foul.
That's now 10 points for Marcus Hill Jr. 10th time this season to double digits. Hildreth had it bounce off the edge of the backboard.
I think Huntley Hatfield got a piece of that. Yeah, see, I mean, you look at Reed just laid off that play. He knows that he cannot attack anybody going to the rim.
Jaden Taylor was there to clean up the mess. Jaden Taylor, number 8 in red, is the leading scorer this season, along with Marcus Hill Jr. They both average 12.5 points per game for Kevin Keats. It's a 2-point game. Hildreth. Pass in tight quarters. What a catch by Spillers. Good hands.
That good find inside. He was ready to catch.
That's 8 points now for Trayvon Spillers, the senior from Charleston, South Carolina. Hildreth got a piece of that one. Deflected it out of bounds. It'll stay with NC State. And now Hildreth will trot to the bench. Juke Harris is in. 14 points, a season high in the first half for the freshman Juke Harris.
He certainly earned his court time in the second half.
Quick release. That was for 2 out of the corner from Taylor, and the Pack is going to get another chance. Again, that was a 2-point attempt. NC State led for about 20 seconds in the first half. They led 3-2. O'Connell on the drive. Spillers may have gotten a piece of it. O'Connell trails the play.
And that's where his value is going to be as a second guy in on the shot block here with Reed. But, you know, just Reed's presence out there is going to be a key.
Hill hustles it up. O'Connell, catch and release. Efton Reed with the position. Falling out of bounds, and he was able to send it to a teammate. Johnson looks over at the bench for some instruction. Johnson cross court. Sallis. Money.
Again, not a strength of his, and a tough way to get your scoring going from behind the three-point line, but much needed.
22nd made 3 of the season for Hunter Sallis. Double digits now for the 13th time this season. O'Connell is open, and he makes no mistake in front of his own bench.
Well, Wake had a couple of guys, and key guys, leave the program last year, but they were really happy that Sallis stayed.
Couple of three-pointers now for O'Connell.
Yes.
Intense D on Sallis. Denies him entry. Shot clock, Mike, is at 6 for Johnson. The recognition from Sallis. Huntley, Hatfield, and Spillers went shoulder to shoulder. And that is off of NC State.
Well, and with the clock where it was, I mean, Sallis has the size advantage over O'Connell. I would have liked to have seen him take him off the dribble, try to get closer, but he couldn't. He had to settle for the shot.
There's only 9/10 of a second on the shot clock.
Just enough for a tip. You can't catch him.
Sallis got rid of it. That is going to be a shot clock violation. So the possession really never developed for Wake Forest, and it's back to NC State. Wolfpack 3-2 in their last 5 games. That includes a win in early December at overtime at home against Florida State, 84-74, and that one sails into the seats. So Wake will get it right back. On deck, game 2, CW courtside Saturday, Duke and SMU for early season supremacy in the ACC. Johnson sheds his defender with a nifty behind-the-back dribble. Hours and hours in the gym, Mike, refining those skills. O'Connell on Harris. Shot clock at 5. Johnson in trouble. Second straight possession. Shot clock violation, Wake.
Well, and that's on your point guard, and that's on Johnson. He's got to have a sense of where the shot clock is. He didn't, and NC State did a nice job of getting some size on him to cover him up. That's a couple now. Shot clock situations that Wake has had in half-court possessions.
4-point lead for Wake. Middlebrooks bounces it. Had it deflected away by Spillers. Johnson runs it up. Spin cycle. Middlebrooks recovered. Deflected it out of bounds. When we come back, Pack.
Emotional piece of that, just considering where Janetta had come from a year ago.
Just an incredible story. What a moment for that family, Mike.
Yeah, you know, just going through it last year and checking in with Steve and following her progress, and great story. You know, it is a wonderful thing to have that type of motivation at the end to see yourself through something like that.
Christopher's wife, Allie, also in attendance this afternoon as Styles hits the turnaround. Son Christopher is the video coordinator, sits right next to the Wake Forest bench. Demon Deacons are 7-0 at home, 10-4 on the season. Won Tuesday at Syracuse. They're in a 4-point tussle, make it a 6-point lead thanks to Sallis.
Right, really nice job of Wake clearing that left side out. There was really no opportunity for State to help on the drive.
12 points now for Sallis. Styles, not bashful at all. The miss. Huntley Hatfield over the top, rips it away with one hand. Found Hill. Spillers helping again. Knocked it away for a second time. Taylor, the shot, it goes over the backboard.
But you can't still, I mean, they get the possession, but too many opportunities for NC State that time. Wake's got to come up with the ball before that.
Early stages of the second half, Wake had a 6-point lead as it does now. After the first half, Sallis directs a little traffic.
That's the thing. Sallis he's going to have a height advantage of just about anybody who's guarding him. Nice two-man game that time. Just this is you know, the game can be pretty simple. Sometimes we make it a little more complicated than it should be. Two-man basketball, left-hand side of the court, and you know, Reed's not a guy who's going to play above the rim, but you don't have to.
Styles picked up the foul to put Reed at the free throw line. Chance at the old school three-point play.
Don't you think that Coach Forbes likes to see those two guys out doing the pick and roll rather than sitting on the bench with two fouls?
That's a way better view, seeing them on the court here at Joel Coliseum. Fantastic catch on the pass by Reed as well, and he completes the three-point play. Efton Reed, the senior from Richmond, Virginia. Transfer from Gonzaga and LSU, second year in the Wake program. 101st career game for Efton Reed. Denying the entry to Middlebrooks from Styles was Reed defensively. Shot clock winding down on pass. Can't calculate the angle. Reed up ahead now. Just off the fingertips of an anxious Spillers.
He was looking at the rim rather than getting control of the ball. Pretty good look ahead. Watch, he'll kind of right there. He wanted to get to the rim so badly.
But that's why you got to hustle back. He sensed Middlebrooks was right over his shoulder.
Yep.
So good hustle by Middlebrooks to get back in the play. Styles. Shot clock at 7 for O'Connell. Trying to find some daylight. Pulls up on the baseline. Bounce back to O'Connell somehow, and he converts. He's got 8 points.
Yep, they've got it again. Good, really good, solid defensive stand. Shot clock running down. NC State gets a second chance and a basket.
Michael O'Connell has a couple of three-pointers to go along with that jumper just moments ago. Sallis. Easy little shot for Sallis, 14 points. Lead back up to 9 for Wake. 12.5 minutes to go in our second half. Whistle stops play from Tommy Morrissey on the baseline.
Wake Forest foul charge to number 2, Juke Harris.
Second foul on Juke Harris. So now Sallis and Harris, Mike, are the leading scorers for Wake. Both have 14. Juke had all his points in the first half. And you can tell from the crowd reaction which way this is going, and that's another one on Harris.
Demon Deacons foul and charge to 2, Juke Harris, his 3rd.
Well, and he, you know, freshmen have to be real careful around referees. You have to earn those calls to a certain degree. Get up, say nice whistle, sir, and then go and come back and play again.
Middlebrooks against Reed, held his ground. Wake wants to run. Sallis had it up on the rim, was trying to jam it. It comes back to Johnson, and he hits. It's a 3-ball for Johnson. Timeout. NC State, Tyler Johnson with the 3 for the Deeks.
This ground, he didn't. The key thing there was he never brought his hands down. Kevin Keats was saying he got him with his body, and that technical was called during the timeout.
Sallis is at the free throw line for the technical. You know, and to
then
add to that,
well, then the Wake bench was screaming for a goaltending on the initial call there. It got tapped back out, and they hit a 3.
Right, Sallis was trying to dunk it.
Yeah.
And it spun off the rim and back out to Johnson for 3. And remember, prior to all this, it was Styles on the drive, and he ran into Harris. Thought he had position, but the foul went against Harris. His 3rd personal for Wake on the drive by Styles on the baseline. Back and forth we go. 57-43. Wake on a 12-2 run. One of their last 7 from the floor for NC State. Styles, the help from Johnson, and he took it away. Looking for Sallis.
Probably a good decision at that point.
Parker defending Sallis. Wake slowing it down. Shot clock is inside of 10. Johnson travels. So when we come back, NC State has the basketball. Wake out in front, 57 Final Four appearance. They lost to Ohio State in the semifinals. That was in Louisville, Kentucky. They played in a 3rd-place game, Mike, and they beat UCLA 82-80. Cincinnati was the national champ.
Billy Packer on that team, and Jerry Lucas, John Havlicek on the Ohio State team.
The 3rd-place game.
And Billy Packer, or Bones McKinney, they might have invented the 3-man in the booth with Jim Packer and Billy Packer and Jim Thacker. They did that for a while, didn't they?
That is old school. We love it. Absolutely.
How old school it is. They did my games in the late 70s at Duke.
All the way to the Final Four, Mike, in 1978 against Kentucky. Not to bring it up.
Well, that's when being on TV was a big deal.
And you know what? It's still a big deal,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is.
Especially on CW Courtside Saturday.
Yes, it is.
By the way, we've only got room for 2 people here at the table at Wake Forest. So Hildreth coming back in for Wake Forest. Spillers goes to the bench.
You know what? And the thing that I'm noticing is that Steve Forbes is doing some substituting, but he is keeping the freshman Juke Harris out on the floor.
And he's playing with 3 personal fouls. 14 points in the first half for Harris. Has not scored in the second half.
You know, I'd imagine we get into under the 8-minute mark that he'll have his veterans out on the floor, but the freshman has played very well today.
A lot of dribbling from Sallis. Finally got the shot away, and it'll stay down. .18 points now for Sallis. Largest lead of the game in the first half by Wake was 15.
Well, one of the reasons that they've been able to build up this lead, too, they've been able to keep State off of the free throw line.
Middlebrooks was maneuvering on the inside, and a foul is called. That'll be Efton Reed in his third.
Hey, call it both ways.
Only the fourth team foul, so both teams pretty far away from the bonus.
Little body check by Efton Reed. Has to be careful here against Middlebrooks. And that could be number 4 on number 4. And it is.
Well, and Spiller's barely enough time to get a Gatorade over on the sideline. He's back in the game. Well, and, you know, nice job by Middlebrooks. He understands the situation and goes right back at him. And that was basically the same play that wasn't called earlier. And so maybe that technical by Kevin Keats paid some dividends there.
So Efton Reed walking to the bench. Quick discussion with Sallis.
Yeah, well, evidently he's saying it's the same thing I didn't get called on. Well, it's, you know.
he did appear to kind of move into Middlebrooks just a little bit. Enough for the foul. Of course, the folks here at Joel Coliseum didn't like it, and Efton Reed has to go to the bench and take a seat.
Well, this is the point in the first half where NC State started to take advantage of things.
Johnson, the pass to Harris, and he fumbled it out of bounds. Back to the pack. 10 turnovers in the game now for Wake. Crucial possession right here with 9.5 minutes to go for NC State.
And see, this is, I mean, you talked about the Virginia game, the second half. Look how many touches Middlebrooks has gotten here in the second half. This is the option they didn't have up in Charlottesville, but let's see how many times he gets the ball here, or at least how many times the offense runs through him, especially with Spillers guarding him.
And again, Middlebrooks did not play in that game in Charlottesville because of an illness just prior to tip-off. He tried to go, just couldn't do it, and wasn't available for the game. Taylor. That one rims out. Kind of an awkward falling down move to the rim. Here's Hildreth on the run. They send it into the corner. Harris, strong move. Dennis Parker picks up the foul on the drive by Harris, who is still on the floor. Juke Harris with a confident drive out of that corner, and now just kind of shake it off as he goes to the free throw line. 3 of 4 from the line for Harris in the game. Don't forget, Cooper Flagg and Duke, part of our second game of the CW courtside doubleheader as they take on SMU. Both teams undefeated in conference play and on 7-game winning streaks. It's coming up next. Moody Coliseum is the site. Brian Oliver, Tom Brenneman will take you through Duke and SMU.
I actually played in Moody Coliseum. 1977, December.
That will be one of the 5 all-time meetings between those programs. Hill somehow hanging and scoring.
Good solid finish inside.
He's got 12 points. What an addition he has been for Kevin Keats, senior from Rockford, Illinois, and a transfer from Bowling Green. First team all-conference selection in the MAC. Johnson got caught in the air. Spillers gathers it and lays it in.
He really bailed out his teammate that time. Johnson getting caught up in the air.
10 points now for Spillers, double digits, 7th time this season. He's also got 4 double-doubles. That's Middlebrooks, a twisting attempt. He hit the floor. Johnson grabs it.
Yeah, Spillers got lucky that time. Went for the steal, was caught out of position.
Johnson down the lane. Soft bounce.
And he really gets caught in some awkward positions in the air, but somehow finds a way to get it done.
The lead is now 16. It is the largest of the day. Wake led by 15 midway through the first half. And a foul coming up on the Deacs. They've got the big lead with 7.5 minutes to go.
Thing to keep an eye on, Tom. Spillers, we got Efton Reed on the bench with 4. Spillers has 3. Still 7.5 minutes to go in this game. He cannot pick up the 4th foul in the next 1 or 2 minutes, or Wake's going to be in some serious trouble.
Sallis leads all scorers with 18 points. That is right on his season average of 18.2 to lead Wake in scoring this season. The career high 33 points in February of last season against NC State on this floor for Sallis. Harris to the rim for the jam.
And he's just adding to career highs from here on out.
Juke Harris has 17 points. A new season high. Scored 12 points in a home win against Boston College in December. O'Connell front rim.
Yeah, they're going to go zone, and Spillers better not breathe on anybody for the foreseeable future. And he really shouldn't even be around the offensive boards either.
Wake up near 52% shooting in the first half. They are way above that in the second half as well. Middlebrooks picked up the foul. That's Harris, who is.
Oh, he's just tired. He's not used to playing these big minutes.
He's smiling at least. Look at Hildreth. Draw the defender's mic and find Harris.
Yeah, defender got caught looking good. You see everybody's really spread out. Middlebrooks really had no chance to recover.
So Harris is favoring the left leg as he hops to the bench.
That may be just a cramp.
Well, he's smiling, so I'm hoping that's an indication of something not overly serious. We'll keep an eye on that.
He's like, I can't believe this.
I got to get back in.
I'm rolling out there, and I got a cramp.
17 points for Juke Harris. His season high was 12. He shattered that in the first half with 14 points. Overall, Wake for the game, Mike, shooting 57%. Fredrickson is in there, number 7, three-point specialist. Entry Spillers has the advantage over O'Connell and utilizes it.
Nice job on that, sniffing that mismatch out. And really, on a real positive note for Wake, too, 5 of 11 for 3. So their improved three-point shooting continues.
12 points for Spillers as Pass loses it out of bounds.
Unforced turnover.
Well, Wake made 9 threes, Mike, in the victory on Tuesday at the Dome.
Yeah, he's just saying, Steve Forbes said yesterday to us that it's just November's numbers are just really have driven them down.
Steele O'Connell beats Johnson to the rim and lays it in.
You know, Johnson was looking in to try to set up the offense, and that was just great hands by O'Connell.
Since the 21-22 season, Wake's home record is 55-7. Fredrickson, 3-ball corner pocket.
And that was a tough shot, too. I mean, you know, with the pump fake and his defender still right there.
71-51, and the second three for Fredrickson. Hill in traffic, knocked away. Hildreth up ahead, Fredrickson the catch. Sallis baseline. Points now for Sallis after that baseline jumper. Seventh time this season, Mike, 20 points or more for Sallis.
Yeah, again, the length of Sallis. And then this is the one thing that Wake has really done well this game, the look ahead. You know, you can advance the ball off the dribble or off the look ahead. And, you know, he's just so good in his mid-range game. I mean, you know he's going to get his somehow, some way. And, you know, credit this. I think we're seeing a nice maturation of the freshman, Juke Harris. He's putting a string of games together at the right time for this team in early January.
That's 4 straight games now for Sallis.
Yep.
With 20 points or more. In the last 3 games, Mike, he's gone for 23 points or more in all of those, including a game-high 23 at the Dome on Tuesday against Syracuse.
And the last 4 games for Juke Harris have been really good as well. Now, if they could get number 7, Fredrickson, to show you what the stretch that he's been in, this is only the 4th game this year where he's had multiple baskets made in a game. He's just too good of a shooter.
Fourth on Spillers.
Yep. And now you're okay. You're 4 minutes. And you got your 2 guys with 4 fouls. So Reed's coming back in with 4.
You're up by 22 as well.
Yeah. So you've massaged this into a, you know, you're not popping Tums over there on the sidelines.
Just a 6-point game at halftime.
Although I think he's grabbing, he may have a little acid reflux still.
How does number 1 not have a single foul?
So Wake Forest again trying to stay perfect at home, something they have done the last 3 seasons. They have started 10-0 at home for the last 3 years, and they're on their way to 8-0 with the 20-point lead right now against NC State. Teams will play again. It's just the first meeting. They'll play again late February in Raleigh. NC State, the defending ACC tournament champs, all the way to the Final Four last year. Today, however, the second half especially belongs to Wake Forest. And that guy, Hunter Sallis, all the way across the Hildreth. Six made threes for Wake in the game. That's a foul against Wake on the Styles move. Hildreth hits the court, picks up the foul. Second on Hildreth.
No elbow there, guys.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a charge call.
The emphasis is on the plant foot of the driver. You must be in position prior to the driver planting the foot to jump to the rim. It's a very close call in most instances. Styles at the free throw line. Got his own miss for a moment. He was on the baseline and might have stepped on it. It will be Wake ball. Good effort by Styles to try to get it back. So the trouble for NC State, Mike, is they have not won since December 22nd at home against Rider, 89-63. As they put the pressure in the backcourt. Fredrickson broken skillfully. Capable hands of Hunter Sallis. Mid-December, NC State went to Kansas and lost at Allen Fieldhouse. Shot clock down to 2. Johnson misses. Styles the rebound. Middlebrooks tees up the 3. If Wake can make this lead stand up, that'll be 4 wins in their last 5 games. 5 wins in their last 7 as Middlebrooks swats at that one and got a piece of Hildreth. 73-54. Just over 3 minutes to go in game one of Courtside Saturday. Game one on the CW.
20 points on the game, may add to that in the last 3.
8 of 13 shooting with Hildreth at the free throw line. 8 of 13 for Sallis. A couple of three-pointers. Above his season average of 18.2 to lead the team.
You know, Steve Forbes was talking yesterday that, you know, beginning of the year with, you know, having to scramble, learn his team. They played 10 games. Well, everybody, you know, is playing. They played 10 games in November with 16 practices to prepare, and it just felt like his team was not ready. And but he likes where they are. And I tell you a couple of things with. Juke Harris continues to improve like this. That's going to be a big plus. And if they can get Parker Fredrickson right, that's going to be another big bonus.
17 points, a season high in the game for Juke Harris. Steal by Efton Reed.
Because this team can defend. Their defensive numbers are really strong.
So they're on their way to victory today. They won earlier this week at Syracuse. The other ACC games, December 21st at Clemson. That was a loss for Wake, 73-62, and the win against BC at home, 72-66. That was early December.
And, they're really looking forward to now. They played. They had a week off. They play today. They've got another week off, and then they play. And I know that they're looking forward to getting into a regular rhythm to finish out the regular season.
Hustle by Hildreth to keep it alive, and a foul. Marcus Hill picked up the foul. Yep, the game at Miami next Saturday, 5:15 Eastern. Mike, it is on the CW. They beat Miami at home in overtime in their only meeting last season, 86-82 for Wake.
With a new head coach down there. Another end of a...
Bill Courtney taking over for Jim Larinaga.
End of an era.
Don't forget what Coach Larinaga did over the last few years. In the Elite Eight, a Final Four. Won an ACC tournament championship as well for that program.
Fine man. I mean, just unbelievable.
Always
man.
So good to us when we visit. Hill. I would keep my eye on number 10 as the season progresses for NC State, Mike. He's got 14.
Yeah, Marcus Hill, good again, good size. You know, I think again, Hundley Hatfield is a key for them to try to find some consistency.
So the Demon Deacons about a minute and a half away from winning their 11th game of the season. They're going to improve to 11-4, 3-1 in conference play. NC State will drop to 8-6, 1-2 in ACC play. Technically, they have not won a road game. They'll go to 0-3 in true road games. Spent the week on the road in Syracuse, New York, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Coming up empty for Kevin Keats. Still hustling. Look at Middlebrooks and Hildreth diving for that loose ball.
I mean, you break your wrist, your shooting wrist in January, and you play the season out. Nobody's going to question your toughness. Cam Hildreth is all that. You know, Middlebrooks finally gets he's starting to get into the starting role. He's been a backup for most of his career.
First game of the season, Hildreth had 33 points against Elon for a career high. Styles hanging on the rim and going to the line.
Demon Deacons foul charge to number 7,
So Styles, he's got a double-double. First of the season, fourth of his career as he goes to the line for NC State. Don't forget game 2, CW Courtside Saturday. Always great to be courtside. Duke and SMU, Tom Brenneman, Brian Oliver take you through it from Moody Coliseum.
I'll tell you what, and having been down there, they are SMU athletic department thrilled to be part of the ACC. They've had quite an entry year into the league as well. Playing in the football championship game against Clemson.
College football playoff as well.
Yep.
Them and the Tigers make it to that field.
Yep.
Hildreth knifes his way, and it spins on in counterclockwise and to the bottom.
With a little swirl.
So the final 25 seconds for the Demon Deacons. Impressive in the second half, Mike. They had just a 6-point lead at halftime, and they roll to victory at home. They're 8-0 undefeated.
Yeah, good. I mean, it's really great. You get the road win, which any road win in this league is a great thing, and then you validate that. Come home, protect home court, get to work on a few things. Solid ACC win. Shot